Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Friday, July 10th, 2026. Now, all week we were getting ready for the opening statements in U.S. versus Guan, the Epoch Times CFO trial. Yesterday was day 3 of jury selection. We buzzed around on the 23rd floor, and suddenly they said something big was going to happen at 3:30. So we went up. All the jurors were moved out of the courtroom into the hallway. But there were like 24 supporters of Guan or of Epoch Times sitting very, very politely in 2 rows. And after a long delay, it emerged that Mr. Guan was consenting to proceed by information, meaning the previous indictment was dropped, and he pled guilty to a single count of conspiracy to engage in financial transaction with criminal proceeds. The criminal proceeds being wire fraud of the Vietnamese team. Apparently, the thing is that in the allocution, Guan didn't want to admit to it. He kept saying, "I'm very sorry, I missed red flags." That's not admitting to the crime. I know a number of judges right here in the Southern District that would have said, no, this plea is not going forward, and now that we have a jury, we're going to go to trial. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't. I think he'll end up appealing. I do. I believe that, especially if he gets a tough sentence, which honestly he should, because there's no, let's put it this way, he should not get acceptance of responsibility points, because he didn't. He didn't plead early. He got into jury selection of 3 days. What a huge waste of time. And then he very cagey allocution. We'll have to see how this plays out, but and he had the issue of interpretation, and I can see this guy appealing. We'll see. It may seem mean-spirited, but I don't know. Something about it left me with a bad flavor in my mouth. You can find it on Substack. I put my real views under the fold. Okay. Now, we're also covering a case, an AI case. This is a beat that I love now, increasingly. Dow Jones versus Perplexity, the India-based other AI. These are the guys who say, don't click the links, just come to us. So they got sued, and they've tried to say that the founders' personal emails shouldn't be given in discovery. Well, Judge Fela hammered them and said, these guys are the company, give it up soon. So that's coming. Quinn Emanuel is representing Perplexity, but in this case, it didn't work. She slammed them. She slammed them down hard. Of course, the unsealing goes along apace. We filed some new stuff. We covered a case in Massachusetts virtually. There was the presentment and arraignment of a Russian hacker, and they did it electronically, which I'm always told, hang on, I'm going to pause because I'm always told that federal criminal things cannot be done virtually, can't be shown or heard. Not true. Massachusetts does it. So does the Northern District of California. So, keep your eye on that. I guess I'm going to go through with this stupid siren. I'm going to pause. Okay, now we're going to go financial. We have to. OppFi, the predatory lender. Well, the Fed still, as of yesterday, had not put notice of their application, even though they've had it for more than a week. We've done a FOIA request for it. We've been urged to narrow some FOIA requests by the Fed. The Fed, through DOJ, filed an answer very uninspiring to our FOIA case about Innova. But the long story short is that OppFi, we have published the application. Since the Fed won't even notify the public that they have this predator's application, we've published it on Document Cloud, free for all to see. Check it out, OppFi, to buy BNC Bank in Arizona. Fair Finance Watch encourages people to comment, and comment early and comment often. Finally, in the UN Secretary General race, I think we found a sock puppet account. There's an account that tagged us, an account on Twitter, X, whose only output is to say Grossi is good and Rebecca Greenspan and Bachelet are bad. I think they're all bad. Not bad. They haven't answered the questionnaire. I have zero confidence that any of them would end censorship. All they have to do is say that they would. But that said, the race is getting, so the question is, who controls that account? Is it Rafael Grossi? Or some Rafael Grossi ally? To be continued.